Welcome. What's up, everybody? Thought I'd go on live here and just have a conversation about some things. I do have some topics, but I didn't write them down. I just thought we'd just have a conversation. So come on in if y'all are out there. Join me for lunch. Thank you ahead of time for having lunch with me. I just finished, so I think I have a grape left. I have a couple of grapes left, so mm. See, I'm actually eating the grapes with seeds. If y'all eating those damn grapes that don't have seeds, don't do that. Dr. Sabi has taught us. Dr. Layla or Dr. Layla Africa. Rest in peace to him, and rest in peace and raw rest and power to both him and Dr. Sabi. They taught us that all fruits have a seed. And for y'all going to Walmart and Kroger and buying those damn those chemical lab grown seedless grapes, y'all go ahead and eat that fake shit. Mm. Mm. And just like in a watermelon that doesn't have any seeds, that's insane. So, speak a little louder. Hold on. All right. Hello. I'm gonna try to speak a little louder. Wait a minute. Let me put my earpiece in. And also this is my laptop, so it may not have as much boom as my. Oh, hold on a minute. I'll just. Ah, damn. Wait a minute. Hold on, y'all. Wait a minute. Just start pressing stuff and start messing up. So I'm gonna do this. Can y'all hear me? Still? Okay. Let me know if you can still hear me or barely hear me. Let me scoot up. And so yeah, y'all continue to eat your lunch. I just thought I'd pop in and say what's up to everybody who's having lunch or riding around taking a break from your 9 to 5. If you are at work, in the building, or even if you're at home working, taking a break and you're eating your fruit, eating your carrots, eating your lettuce, eating your healthy salad, and your grapes with seeds. Mm. Mm. Okay. What's up, Edwin? See, we're not gonna eat the. We're not going to eat fake fruit for lunch. But I have a couple of topics. But I want to make sure those of you who are coming on, please share this live. Share this live. Share it. And also, if you have not messed with me on the short story, the book yet, go ahead and get it because I always have it for sale. It's 40 pages of me sharing my experience from 22 years old to 39 years old. 22 years old when I first found out about my actual real father by accident. And the title of the book is called, or short story, because it's only 40 pages. But from what people tell me, it's a page turner. They describe it as powerful and man, what a journey. And so it was just me writing down exactly what happened and how I really felt. And trust me, it was an emotional roller coaster writing that particular. It was actually a chapter in a manuscript that I wrote years ago. But I thought we're always talking about fatherlessness and the importance of fathers in the household, and when fathers aren't there, what kind of emotional or mental impact does it have on the children? And how about when the children find out for the first time who their real dad actually is? Grown people don't always tell the truth, or they hold things back for whatever reasons they decide upon when they're young. Your parents, your mothers mainly, because they're the ones who sleep with the dude. They're the ones who give birth to the baby, but then they have the nerve to say, you know what? I don't want to fuck with him. I'm not gonna tell. I'm gonna get my child a new daddy. No, let's say, ladies, if you get him a new daddy, make sure he's a decent new daddy. So if you find out that that guy, that new dad, is not really his dad, he won't be tripping because you picked well the next time you decide to have a child. But anyway, it's only $10. I have it only in uh, PDF format, and I think I have the link on here. My Cash App, $ Blackmanmojo. As soon as you hit me with the Cash App for the $10, please send me an email address so I can send it to you right away. And that's how it's been working for those of you who've bought the short story and have read it. And I appreciate you in advance for hollering at me in relation to this endeavor. Thank you so much in advance. And I want this conversation to continue. And you know, it impacts us all. And I love talking about issues in our community and things that really bother us. You know, it appears that Trump seems to be the big issue with black people. But for me, Trump is not an issue for me. I couldn't care less who the president is because I know one thing. All the presidents we've had has never ever addressed the issues that we need to address in our community. And we have a lot of them. And it's very interesting that when every time there's presidential election, we just totally ignore the actual issues in our homes, in our neighborhoods, our schools, even in our relationships, like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, or what have, how we treat each other. So I couldn't care less. And I'm not, if you look for me to cuss Trump out and call him all these disparaging names, well, I'll do it after you start with after you start cussing out Biden and you start cussing out Harris, then I'll start cussing out Trump because both of them need their asses kicked. But for me, I think Biden and Harris need their asses kicked more because they actually passed laws that disparaged and broke up black families and locked black men up for lesser charges than their whiter or Hispanic counterparts. How come we tend to always ignore that part as it relates to this current presidential election? I just find it weird that they have all these ugly things to say about the current president. And you know what else is most interesting about whenever you hear somebody black talk shit about Donald Trump? They always mention his personality. He's an asshole. He's a dick. That motherfucker crazy. He's stupid. But I can't get one black person who claims he or she dislikes the current president to say, I don't like him because of his policy. I can't ever find that. And so, until you're able to have a real conversation about Biden, Kamala Harris, and Trump, I don't have those conversations. No, because to me, it's no comparison. See, it's the comparison is: would you rather be with the hater who lets you know he hates you, or the hater who grins in your face and try to throw you off that he or she doesn't hate you? Give me George Bush over Bill Clinton any day. And also, as Maya Angelou told Oprah on one of her shows back in the day, Oprah, when they tell you who they are, believe them the first time. Oprah. And so when Joe Biden argued for that law and he sought advice from staunch grand wizards of the KKK, Strom Thurmond and Robert Byrd and others, when he tried to stoke fear in Americans by saying they could walk down the street and attack my mother, stab my brother, and attack my children. I don't want to go to school with them Negroes. They're super predators. We have to get them off of our streets. You know damn well there are no black folks in Delaware at the time. His mother lives in no neighborhood that's even near black folks. You see how they... And then so he was able to get Bill Clinton to sign that 94 crime bill. He was able to have Hillary go around the country and fight to get her husband to sign that bill. She used the word super predators. We're going to act like Kamala Harris. The numbers aren't there in the recent vice president debate. call him what you want to. Um, what's his name? Pimpin' Pence, Mike Pence pointed out with statistics and facts about her arrest record of black men for lesser crimes, lesser marijuana crimes than their white counterparts, and they tried to get him to stop talking, and she had no answer for it. She mentioned something else other than what he spoke on instead of directly addressing that. See, I saw the whole. I see everything. But as an independent, it's my job to weigh both sides and see everything. Who told you that in order for you to do business with anybody, you have to like their personality? Who thinks like that other than a child or a spoiled female, entitled female, or attention-starved person? All the deals that have been done with big businessmen, do you think they've all sat down and drank whiskey together and shared family and familial blood? Fool. No. It's business. And that's how I look at this presidency. But black people have been convinced to look at the presidency emotionally and based on personality. I can't get anybody to speak on for those who claim to hate Trump so bad. I mean, you mention Trump, all of a sudden Negroes' blood just boil, go up here. Ooh, I can't stand it. Ooh, I'm so mad. I can fight against teen pregnancy. I'm so mad at Trump, I can ask 75% of black women to lose 100 pounds. Ooh, I'm so mad at Trump, I can start funding our own school system. Ooh, I'm so mad, I can demand reparations for slavery and 400 years of free labor. I'm so mad at Trump. You see what I'm talking about? Ooh, I'm so mad. I can start sending my black kids to historically black colleges. Ooh, I'm so mad at Trump. I hate him. I know, I ain't shit. Y'all said it's cool. But I'm just saying, we're gonna have to do better. We're gonna have to do better in the way we think and the way we approach things. I'm so mad, I can demand, I hate Trump so badly. I'm so mad right now, I can demand that they take P-Valley off television. I can demand that they get rid of Lovecraft Country. I'm so mad, I can demand that they get rid of Power and Power Book 2. All the bullshit that's permeating the brains of black Americans. I'm so mad at Trump. But I guess you're not mad enough, because none of those things have happened yet. Except for your continuation to announce how much you hate Trump. But in that same voice, I hear you, that same tone, or that same vein, or in the same neighborhood, that same sentence, I hear you you rationalize and justify Joe Biden. See? I've had to block people off my damn page. Again, I'm bipartisan. I'm in the middle. I'm neutral. But I guess they want me to put some stuff up there. So disparaging things about Trump. I put some stuff up there, but I'm about policy. What policy can nobody black tell me this? Hell, nobody Caucasian. But Caucasian people have moved on. They just do them. My eye and my thumb is on the pulse of black folks. That's my main concern. And I can't get not one angry black who hates Trump to mention a policy that negatively, directly affected black folks. But I can tell you what Kamala Harris has done politically that has impacted black men, and 94 crime bill and all of that, and George Bush Sr. putting the dope in the community. And then they're then Joe Biden came behind to punish these folks for selling and using the drugs. But interesting though, these same white folks, these same people, these same liberals came together and put out ads and funded companies and partnered with companies when the opioid and the heroin crisis hit white America. I'm talking about like crack hit black. We have to get help. We have to get more funding. We have to have understanding. We need treatment, not imprisonment. But when black folks were caught up in the crack, oh, they're degenerates, they're animals, they're stealing, they're on drugs, they're addicted, they're a danger. We need to put them in jail, lock them up. And it was interesting when I was working one of these jobs in the treatment centers about 4 or 5 years ago. And I went to a workshop and had this white man up there talking about how the opioid crisis had impacted his family and his neighborhood in New York. And I sat there and I was like, I know somebody's got to check this motherfucker. And some sisters said, well, I understand that, you've lost family and friends due to the opioid, but that's something that they're getting the pills and all the pills out of their grandmother's medicine cabinets. That's what they're getting all those pills because the doctors give them more medication based on insurance because that's what they do. They're little slick little biases and the doctors. They give them all the pills they want, and the grandsons and granddaughters sneaking in, getting grandma's prescriptions, getting hooked on them, and start selling them. Now it's an epidemic all over the place. But what about crack? Well, when crack was attacking blacks, and we didn't ask for crack, it was thrown upon us. First, economically, you deprived the community economically, then they threw in the crack. There was no sympathy for black folks when the crack was just raging through our community. There was no sympathy for blacks. And he just stood his dumb ass up there, his arrogant ass up there, and just talked about how much it has hurt his community. Like, man, sit your ass down. I was so glad when that damn workshop was over. I couldn't sit through another workshop. I guess you get in there to get your training hours and get your certificate. It's the same thing with when I sat through a 3-day training on batterers intervention using that very racist and anti-man batterers victim model called the Duluth model, as in Duluth, Minnesota. These feminist, lesbian, ugly-ass white women came down to, it's called Safe Haven in Fort Worth. I'll never forget it because I was traumatized after that. I was traumatized after hearing all week, for those 3 days, how men are monsters. How men need to literally turn into females in order for women to exist. How men have to bend over backwards and forwards so a woman's feelings wouldn't be hurt. If you hurt her feelings, that's abuse. And men don't understand. This misogyny and this sexism of men. And so the damn 3-day workshop was hosted by those ugly feminist white women. Presented by those ugly feminist white women who were probably they work for the institute that produces that 600-page curriculum that they were able to sell to the state of Minnesota, and they're trying to sell that curriculum across the country. So substance abuse treatment centers and mental health treatment centers, prison treatment centers can use that disgusting model. I came from using this model called Living in Balance. It's another model where it allowed you, come from a psychosocial perspective, where the men did homework and to question their behavior. And I enjoyed doing those groups with the Batterers group using that curriculum, the Living in Balance. The curriculum where they had homework, they had to go home and answer these questions and bring the completed work back. And when they would answer their own questions, we're able to discuss. So you really think that's a good idea, brother? Sir? No, because the room is multiracial. So I would have I think 18 guys for almost 2 hours. And it was awesome. I love doing those groups. I love to hear the mentality. And guess what? There's a lot of dudes with some effed up thinking when it comes to their relationships and how to deal with women. Real fucked up. My God. But luckily, I am the social worker that they need. I am the licensed alcohol and drug counselor that they need. Because when the foolishness began to enter the conversation, I was there. Bro. You were out of line. But I didn't demean them and attack their masculinity or disregard them as being human beings. What I did was called helpful correction. because we spoke to each other as men. And that's what I brought to all of my groups. That's what I bring to my groups. We're going to talk to each other like grown-ups. Because when you leave this group after 2 hours, you're going back somewhere around other people. And I want you to think differently leaving here than you did showing up here. There's a reason you were assigned here. And I want to talk about it. I want to get to the core of why you think the way you think. And so when they would read their homework, I would let them know. Let's say, for example, a guy said, well, we were arguing and she was like trying to leave the room and she grabbed the doorknob and I grabbed her hand away from the doorknob. I said, hold on, baby, wait, let's talk about this. And I said, stop right there. When she grabbed the doorknob, she was trying to leave. When you grabbed her hand, that's where the assault came in, sir. That's when the imprisonment began. Because when someone's trying to leave the argument, no matter how angry you are supposed to allow them to leave, sir. And he just kind of looked, well, man, we were just talking. I was trying to explain to her. Again, when she's trying to leave, it's not about you anymore. She's trying to retreat because obviously she understands, well, this has gotten too hot for me to handle, or I don't want to talk anymore. Those are the kind of groups. And guess what? That guy, he listened to what I said. And then I also allow others to chime in. That's called a group. And we're teaching each other, these men. And they're like, yeah, man. So, well, you're right. I understand what you're saying, bro, but that was wrong, cuz. And he's like, yeah. And then the guy just kind of like, you know what? Shit, I ain't never thought about it like that. And I'm like, See, that's how I roll. But that Duluth model, it wanted you to damn near just snatch the soul out of men and have them acting like they get up every morning to powder their face and do their lips and pop, 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 pop to make sure their lips pop when they leave the goddamn house. And say yes, yes when they leave the house. That's what that Duluth model wants. Not black men, but men, period, of all races, to act like that. Damn well women don't like effeminate punk ass dudes. For the most part. They like guys who are logical. They like men who put their foot down, but you don't have to put it on their neck. See, women don't mind a little foot to the, putting your foot down. The problem comes, guys, when you put your foot on their necks. That's stupid. She's not an animal. She's your girlfriend. She's your wife. What's wrong with you? And now, you know what I would say whenever I enter that group? And I'm still talking about that damn Duluth model. I'm going to get back to it in a minute. Whenever I entered a group room, and there was some new guys, I would introduce myself, talk about my credentials, and how long I've been in the business doing substance abuse counseling and treatment and mental health counseling, blah, blah, blah. Even co-occurring disorders, I mean you have an addiction as well as a mood disorder. I would let them know what I believe the difference is between domestic violence and a batterer. All right, and for those of you I haven't shared this with, here you go. I guess here it is. See, domestic violence usually includes two people who are equally throwing blows, throwing plates, throwing glasses, cussing each other out, pushing, shoving, jumping on each other's back, and all that. That's domestic violence. You come in, you're arguing and cussing. But still with that, the guy is usually the one who's carted off to jail with handcuffs and shoved into these anger management and these batterers intervention classes for, 22 weeks or something like that. Anger goes up to like 8 weeks, or was it 12 hours? So, I guess 1 hour. So 12 weeks or 8 weeks. Yeah. And so, but the women are normally not assigned anywhere unless she just showed all the way out. But other than that, the women don't catch the brunt. So that's domestic violence. Usually it plays out like that. Both of them have scratches. Both of them have bite marks. They got into it. And I'm not condoning domestic violence at all. But couples get into it. They need to cut that shit out. But then the next thing you know, they're hugged all up. That's the psychology of it. It's weird. Counseling for both parties, please. But a batterer, see, and I would tell it. I'm sharing this with the men. But a batterer is a low self-esteem, a low self-worth, powerless son of a bitch. He's powerless in society. He's powerless at work. He's a minuscule little bastard in his friend group, if he has any friends. And all that may have come from childhood trauma, being disregarded, emotionally neglected, abandoned as a child. And then he grows up trying to find and maintain some level of control till it gets to the point where it suffocates whomever he's around or has in his grasp as a girlfriend or even a friend or a wife. And he batters just to say and to remind himself that he's in control. You know what a batterer does? Batterer goes on, takes crap from his boss. He's kind of ignored by the coworkers, and he's not powerless in society. But he comes home where he feels powerful. He kicks the dog, smacks the kid, and mugs the wife. Those are the people that he rules over. And the wife would say, "Sweetie, how you doing? How's your day? If you think my day was, B? Anything in that mother-loving kitchen cooked? Yeah, I was cooking dinner, been ready. Well, why this mother table ain't set yet, B? How come you ain't brought my mother-loving food to me, yo?" And then next thing you know, she said, "All right, but you ain't got to talk to me like that. Who the F you talking back to, B? Spring, boom, bow, bow, bow. 2-piece to the pepper, bow, boom, body slam, boom, choke. Bitch, you got me." That's a batterer. And I tell my group with a straight face. So I know there's some guys in here been accused of domestic violence. And I know some guys in here have been accused of battery. One thing I can't stand a thief, and I can't stand a batterer. A batterer is a lame son of a bitch. He's a coward and a puss. He's powerless. I can't stand a batterer and a thief. And they look at and they would look at me, some of the white guys' cheeks to get kind of red. And I said, I know it's some batterers in here, and I know amongst the domestic violence guys. And I know it's some batterers in those groups. I know it. But all 18 of those men are not batterers. They've been put into a batterers group because that's just how it's set up systematically. Any domestic violence, whatever, that's what you're assigned to. So I wasn't letting the domestic violence folks off the hook, but I was letting the batterers know, you son of a bitch. I can't stand a batterer. And y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all see these dudes. You got the little scary girlfriends, little scary wives. They mean mugging, just like they kings of the castle. Let me tell y'all something for you guys who are married or living girlfriends. If you're the king of your castle, you ain't got to do all that. Because, see, one thing you have to learn about women, especially if you grew up around them, women know men when they're around them. Women know men when they're around them. Women know a man when she's talking to him. Because her job is to constantly bet and fuck with you and jab at you just to see what you're made of. Women are gnats with long hair. Take it how you want to. They constantly fuck with you. You ever seen a horsefly, for those of you who grew up in the country? A horsefly flying around a horse. You know what a horse does to that horsefly or those gnats? He does one swoop with that tail. And when a woman knows you ain't got but one swoop for her ass, she don't even act like that. See, the batterers can be bothered by all this. And women know weak feelings and softy dudes. That's why they fuck with them all the time. Or annoy them. Because they can't annoy a man. And so if you want to be the king of your castle, be a man. Just be a man. She'll fall in line because one thing about femininity, it falls in line with masculinity. And I'm segueing. I know a lot of us, due to the fact that we probably weren't raised by both mother and father, or we probably weren't raised around feminine women or very masculine men, uh, or read the books that teaches us, the books that teach us the difference in masculine and feminine, the importance of having both in your environment and the energy. That's why it's so important for fathers to be there for their daughters, and especially for their sons. But see, daughters respond to masculinity when they've had a good example of masculinity in their dads or their strong uncle or their powerful grandfather. But when a woman has not been introduced appropriately to masculinity, you have what we have today, all these, yes, bitch, I don't need no, yes, bitch, yes, and I'm a strong, independent boss, bitch, yes, wet ass pussy. See, that is what you have today. But these young ladies today, even women who are of a particular age, over 40, over 45, and 50, see how they carry themselves. And if you mention their daddies or their favorite man in their life, they speak of them with a particular laudness and awe struck and respect. And my dad, ooh, when some of these girls who had their daddies, and fellas, y'all listen. And for those of you who haven't found the right woman or you're trying to pick her, listen to how she speaks about her father. If she speaks about him, and two things happen. She's smiling, or she's so grateful and so full that she had her daddy, she almost had to kind of wipe her eyes when she talks about it. That right there lets you know that she'll like you. She'll respect you and your masculinity. Unfortunately, since the mid-70s, early 70s, the disappearance of men in the household based on a contract that a lot of women across the country, particularly black women, accepted the contract from Lyndon Baines Johnson. You have the babies, I give you welfare. You keep them out the house, I give you food stamps in Section 8. They accepted that. And then they allowed the feminists to tell them, girl, you don't need no man. All you need to do, you can do it yourself, have your kids, and raise them yourself, get a good job and education. You understand how they work? A lot of young men today have not been sufficiently exposed to appropriate masculinity. Now, I'm not saying no toxic masculinity shit. I don't believe in that. What I'm saying is exposed at all. I didn't grow up with a dad, but I was very fortunate to have grown up in the 70s and the 80s. But there are a lot of masculine men around, a lot of fathers in my neighborhood, a lot of masculine teachers, math, PE coaches, football coaches, civics teachers. There were a lot of men, black men in my junior high school, masculine. Not a lot of these fruity dudes that's teaching your elementary school boys and girls now, and teaching your junior high boys, these little fruity guys. They were not the norm. Now, we've always looked at the music teacher with a little side eye, but he didn't bother anybody. But right now you got your history teacher, the math teacher. Y'all make sure y'all get to class here. Don't be there. Don't be late to class. Oh, Mr. Davis, we're going to be there. And some young lady said, Mr. Davis, we're going to be in class. You make sure you get there here. We don't have that. We didn't have that when I was a kid. But, so it's so many things that come into play. So you guys that want to be kings of your castle, act like a man. That's all. You don't have to order her around. She does it automatically. Feminine women crave masculine men. Feminine women crave masculine men. So while y'all raising y'all sons, teach them about the importance of being masculine and self-sufficient. Now, it's weird though. They don't have a problem with these effeminate men when they are white or Hispanic. You have noticed that? See, and a kind of a feminine guy who's smart and all of this and speaks correct English, I guess, whatever. Sisters kind of look past him. They kind of give him the Byron Allen and the Carlton from Fresh Prince brush off. Then those two kind of guys go off and marry white women who are feminine. I guess they were drawn to feminine, and because he was smart, he's a provider. But when the sisters go out and date outside their race, they'll go and get an effeminate or a softy or a very liberal white man. I'm like, wait a minute. So it lets me know they only date him just because he's white. Oh yeah. I've studied us a long time. and the effects of slavery on the mindset of African American or black folks. So that's what I'm pushing, brothers. It's okay. It's okay to be unapologetically black, male, and straight and masculine, because that's what women are craving. And those of you who are raising daughters, let me tell you, fathers who are raising daughters, stop trying to put a football and a basketball, anything you thought you could have put in your son's hand had you had a boy. She's a girl. And y'all see where female athletics is going right now. If I had a daughter, I wouldn't dare put a basketball in her hand, all them dykes in these junior high and high school. I wouldn't dare. She's a girl. I wouldn't expose her to that. I said, sweetheart, don't you want to be a cheerleader? But then, if I go to the school, let's say they have 6 girls and 3 boy cheerleaders, but not real boys. They're like, nah, he don't need to be doing splits like you, sweetheart. So, man, I don't know. Maybe I'll just, hey, don't you want to just, maybe be one of those dancing dolls at the schools. Yeah, not the kind that on their show them little thoughts or them little whore dances. You know, just not that. And not cuties, not the little whore dancers and little girls. That stuff for the strip club. But those who are 18 years old and up, when you pay money, I guess, to go in there and see them shake all that they're worth. But so anyway, let's try to keep our girls. Keep them feminine and sweet and girly. Cause that's what I saw when I grew up. When I was growing up in the 80s, girls always just chew gum and, you know, gossip and talk a little trash, but they was always rubbing on their arms and, you know, doing girl stuff. They were girly. A lot of these young women, fathers, y'all are masculinizing your girls because you wish you had a son. Don't do that. Don't try to have your girl dunking every goddamn well. You should be putting her in an etiquette class and etiquette so she can behave as a young lady and be cute and precious. Because one thing about that I know every father wants for his daughter, that's for her to marry high up and to marry well. Well, you can't do that if she can arm wrestle her damn husband. I know. All right, if I win, you do the dishes. If I win, you back in the living room. She already know her role as the woman. And please don't bog me down. So you think women here just here to do housework? No, masculine and feminine. You ever notice when there's a gay couple? See, you know how the natural order things work? You have a masculine dude and you have a feminine dude. So, even in the gay couples, a masculine stud chick and a feminine lipstick, Halle Berry, Kelly Rowland kind of cutie. And how do those studs get those cute ass women? It's something. So fathers of daughters, stop giving them all these damn sporting equipment. No, let them be. No, put them into gymnastics, cheerleading. You know, so maybe girls softball, girls volleyball. They got, and just tell them, hey, tell that girl over there when I smash over the net, don't pat me on my booty, because I don't know where you're coming from. Back in the day, it used to be alright, just like guys used to kind of athletically pat guys on the butt when they made a touchdown or a good play. But right now, if I had a son, I'd be like, son, don't let him pat you on the butt. Just on the shoulder is cool. Don't pat me on the shoulder. Don't ruin me crossing my damn shoulder. It's here. He can't trust shit no more. But look, Mary Max, what's up, sweetie? Thank you so much for joining me. And look, one last thing, and I'll let y'all finish your lunch. I have to go and put my clothes in the dryer, cause I know that dude. I know the spin cycle is over right now. Anyway, y'all know these people that's been wearing these shirts. They're saying, "Don't get your ass kicked. I'm not my ancestors," and all. I'll kick your ass. Those T-shirts, and they've been putting this stuff all out on social media. And every time I see that, I would, I had to think, what ancestors are they referring to? I'm not talking about the ones who participated in more than 300 slave revolts. Are they talking about those ancestors? You talking about the ancestors who fought on the ship La Amistad, who tried to fight their way off that ship and turn it back to Africa when they were those enslaved Africans, where they revolted? Or talking about the Africans in Haiti that fought off the French. What ancestors are you talking about? If a lot of black folks today were our ancestors, we'd be in better shape. So when I see those very entitled, I call them millennial t-shirts, don't do that. That's stupid. Because you haven't read enough about who our ancestors are for you to wear a t-shirt. Don't do me. I'm not my ancestors. Well, our ancestors fought for freedom. Y'all fighting for inclusion. So no, motherfucker, you're not our ancestors. Or are you talking about those ancestors who got their ass beat on that Pettis Bridge, or had milkshakes and food thrown in their face and they're trying to socially integrate? I have a problem with that, but let me tell y'all something about that. Those people who allow dogs to bite them on the ass, and women get their breasts bitten off by angry German Shepherd police dogs, and black folks getting their asses beat on that bridge and snatched around and food thrown on them and spat at to get in a restaurant or a damn Little Rock high school. I heard somebody say this about Rosa Parks, who was not the actual hero. It's actually Coletta, the sister who's 15 years old, who's pregnant. She was the actual hero, but I guess she was dark skinned and pregnant, so they had to put a light skinned chick, and they figured that she was a more wholesome person to present. So, let's give credit due. Let's put history where it belongs. It's not that 15-year-old dark-skinned, black-looking sister who was the first one who did not give her Percy. But the NAACP, it is for colored folks, I guess. But anyway, sidetrack. Yeah, I know. But somebody says about Rosa Parks, she sat down so we could stand up. And I'm gonna try to throw a little light those other folks' way, because I would have never done the King way or the A. Philip Randolph way. And I'm more of a Malcolm Marcus Garvey kind of cat. But even with them, the women got bit, the men were beaten and hung. Churches were blown up. So you will know exactly what we're supposed to be doing today. That is not these little weird ass marches. We're supposed to be focusing on black folks and black people's progression. With all that they did in the route that they took to freedom, or they believe was freedom, we're not even respecting that. And I've had to check my own thinking on that. I don't agree with the way the civil rights marches did it, but there is something to be said if we could actually do that on behalf of black people. What they did, what Dr. King was planning with the Poor People's Campaign. Come to find out he was planning to get everybody up there and just set up a tent city in front of the White House, on the White House Mall, the whole mule, all the Lincoln Memorial and everything, all of those things. So if we can do it the right way, together as black people, 50 million. Hell, and we'll take another 5 million can do it across the country. That is what, without being sprayed and all that, we just take care of our business. Without the interference of Antifa and these so-called well-meaning white folks and these bored suburban Hispanics and Jews. These are weird-ass LGBT, trans, and all them weirdos. But we just do it as black people who are trying to fight for black children and survival of the black family, black man and black woman. That would be awesome. We'll probably never get a chance to do that again because we've gone in so many directions and we've stayed too long. Shout out to Texas now. So I just want to end on that. I think that that's inappropriate when people say that stupid shit. Because still, what ancestors are you talking about? If you read any history, a lot of our ancestors fall back. They fall back to their graves. It wasn't until the 50s and 60s that they were laying down and allowing people to do stuff to them, beat them, murder them, maim them. They did all that, so you wouldn't be here today saying stupid shit like that. But anyway, thank y'all for allowing me to sit in and have lunch with y'all. Mess with my book, hit me up on that cash out, $ Blackmanmojo. The book is only $10. I appreciate your labor ahead of time. We'll talk again on one of these lives. I like this. Just here chilling and we get to talk. I'm gonna fix it when we'll be able to talk to each other whenever I go live. But anyway, peace, y'all. We will definitely talk on next time.